Hi there, it's Melissa and I'm back again with another process video for you. This time is a 12 by 12 layout, and this video is all about what to do when things just don't go your way when you're scrapbooking, right down to the weather. So I'm using this piece from the Bell kit and I loved it because I didn't have much time, and I loved that it had treatment on it already. So it looks like a mixed media page. It looks like it's been watercoloured and then it's got some crosses stamped on it. Well, that's what it looks like anyway. And it also looks like it's got a bit of mist dropped on it. And then I decided to use the frames. Now, I think someone else in the design team has already used a lot of the frames in a similar way. I haven't had a look to see who it was, so this is not my idea. This is lifting someone else's idea. And, you know, in scrapbooking, there's only a limited number of supplies, and often we will do things that we've seen other people do. The important thing is not to take full credit, so I do not take full credit for this idea. So I was going to put my photos in frames, but there were no frames that fit my photos.
Mama,
so
miss you.
I miss you too, Brielle. Brielle's here. I'm trying to get this voiceover done while both little girls are here. And so I decided to put a white background on my photos. So as always, I use some white cardstock. I'm not going to show you this entire process, but I just glue it down and then trim it out. I've got a sore wrist, so that's why I cut that first bit crooked.
Mummy, you got sore wrist?
Yes, I've had a sore wrist. And even Charlie's joining in by meowing. It's our cat, one of our cats. So I also back the other ones. So what I did was, sorry about that, I just had to stop and do some parenting. So what I decided to do was lay all these frames down, or not all of them, select some and lay them down. And these ones, okay, step back. Putting a white border on these small photos too. I did think that they'd fit inside the small frame, and they would, except I love the detail of these two climbing over the log. So just so you know what this is about, this is Brielle and her little friend Dexter, and Sean took them down to the lake, or to the river, which comes off the lake, and they played, and they didn't know that he was taking these photos, but he basically just took these really cute photos of them helping each other over this log. So what I'm doing is using some new glue, and I asked my husband to get me some tacky craft glue from Spotlight, and that's exactly what he got me. That's what it's called. So it's my first time using it, and I'm actually really happy with it. So I'm just gluing these frames down. I kind of had an idea of where I wanted my photo, the main one, to go, but I decided I've got limited time. I just need to get them down, get them stuck down, and then I'll build my layout around that. So that was probably the first mistake that I made, was that I didn't pre-plan, except to know that I was scrapping these photos and using the frames. So here I am kind of working out where I want things to go, and I want the frames in the middle to all adjoin or abut each other as they are, like that. And if they had words on them, such as that blue one says picture perfect, I wanted that to be seen. I didn't want it to partly cover any of the words. So it did take me a bit of time to work out the order or positioning of the frames and the photos. I did think about layering more chipboard on top of chipboard, but it would have been too bulky. That blue frame on the left is cardstock frame. I think it's from one of the ephemera, I think it's from the ephemera pack, and the rest of them I use are all chipboard. So I did have a bit of trouble because this is a multi-photo layout, so I wanted to make sure that it looked cohesive and didn't look too random. And so I'm just adding that frame on the right there, and it's got date, and I need to go back and look at my computer and get the exact date because I didn't have that at the time of making this, so I will go back and do that. So that's the position that I quite like, and I probably should have taken a photo at that point, but that doesn't matter. And then I liked the way these frames looked against each other, and I could see sweet memories on the spotty frame and captured up on the large blue frame with crosses. Sorry guys. So here I'm using some craft foam or fun foam, and I'm trying my glue because normally I'd use double-sided adhesive. As you'll see soon, the liquid glue works really well, and that'll be my next mistake, but I'll leave that for you to discover in a second. So I didn't really think too hard. I just positioned my photo, positioned the craft foam, and the mistake comes because I didn't check where I was putting my photo. So that I think is the position that it's meant to be in, but as this video progresses, you'll see that it doesn't end up there. So I don't measure anything, I just keep trimming it with the craft foam. I just keep trimming it till I'm happy, and I actually use up every little scrap, so little tiny pieces like that little pink piece there will get used, not necessarily in this layout but in another one. It's really cheap, but I don't like wasting anything, as you know. So I decided to use double-sided tape, and I'm so glad that I did. I think if I'd used glue, I would have had a more challenging layout process on my hands. So I had a bit of trouble getting this off. I don't know why, but you know, sometimes everything goes wrong, and there were moments where I wanted to just throw this layout away or reprint my photos. So here we go, sticking down, and immediately I can see, watching this back, that I don't like the way the photo lines up with the top blue frame. And after all I said about that little pink piece of foam, I did use it. I used it on the top left corner of my photo because it needed a bit of a lift. So here I realised that I've done it wrong, and this is scary, guys. Close your eyes if you need to, but I don't have time to reprint my photo, and I am trying to make this work. I did think about lifting it just then. So you're seeing my full process here of how am I going to fix this mistake. I could put that photo on the frame because with the white border there is enough room. I've got Brielle and Ava both here now, guys, so sorry about this. I thought about adding another frame. I thought about adding another chipboard frame, but that would have made it way too bulky, and then I'd have an issue with having to add more craft foam, which I wouldn't be able to because it's under the photo. So I am a perfectionist, I guess. I like things to look right, so I just rip this off and hope for the best. And that is the position that I really wanted it in the first place. So I think in the end I do away with the double-sided tape, I go with the liquid glue, and I just stick it down. And that there is the position that I wanted, and it looks so much better. Speaking of things looking better, I think my video quality has greatly improved. I've given up using our really old video camera, and I'm now using my Canon DSLR for this video. So I'm going to keep doing that because I'm absolutely loving how this is looking. So now I'm in a happier position of loving how this is looking. The photos look better, and I am sticking them down. I just need a little bit more craft foam in the gaps between the chipboard and the pattern paper. Now, here's my other mistake. And I don't think I told you, but when I started filming this, it was snowing on the mountains. It was really grey and overcast. And then suddenly, in the middle of this, the sun came out, full beams of sunlight. I tried shutting my curtain. It was too dark because it's autumn here and the light is strange. So I'm sorry about this. Now we've got the tripod shadows across my layout, but I'm halfway through. I can't start again, and there's nothing I can do. So you're going to have to bear with me on this to the end. So now I'm doing my embellishment, which is my favourite part of the layout. I'm using chipboard elements. This is a rubber charm that I'm stapling on, and I'm about to put a second rubber charm down. That is a black arrow that says love it, and I'm just working out where to put it. I want it to cross more than one element, and I like that position there between the two photos. At this point I put too much glue on, but I carry on, which probably wasn't the best idea, and because I've never used this glue before, I don't know how it dries, so I just want to wipe up the excess. So I'm happy with how this is looking now. That is a black flare badge that says "You Make My Heart Sing," and now I'm just adding my journaling in the bottom of this frame. Otherwise, if I didn't put journaling in here, it would look a bit empty to me. So I'm just talking about the friendship that they have and how they argue but they love each other. He was 3 and she was 2 when these photos were taken last year. That is a chipboard piece that says "You Make My Heart Sing," and that is a piece of ephemera that says "Growing Wild." So I'm liking that position. This one says "You Make Me Happy," and I love how that looks in the two frames, so I'm just going to glue that on. Sorry about the shadowing is worse in this part, but we're nearly there. I've glued that Growing Wild pink circle down, and then I felt I should add a heart because they do really love each other, these two. And then I looked at the sticker sheet and got a couple of phrases that I thought were not too girly and quite generic to a friendship page. One of them says together and the other one says wonderful. And here is my next and my final disaster, or near disaster, was dealing with these imaginary stickers. They're not that sticky. I dropped one onto the photo and I was really worried when I pulled it up that it was going to leave a mess, but it didn't. And then I didn't position them properly, so I had to move them. And even here, you'll see they just don't stick properly. So what you see off camera, what you don't see, sorry, off camera is me. I just stitched them down. That's the only stitching I do on the page. But that is my final layout. It didn't need anything else because the background paper had all the work done for me. I really hope you enjoyed my video and watching how I carry on when things don't go my way. So thank you again, and I'll be back next week. Take care.